Hello, good evening, and welcome to the midweek fix on the LFC Daytrippers. I'm your host, Keith, and I'll apologise for the delay getting us started. Just had a few little bits to check up before we came on. Tonight, I'm joined by Davo, by Seany, and by Emmet. Lads, how are yous?
All right, yeah, not bother.
Are we over the heartbreak of Saturday? We've had a few days now. Surely we're all over it. On to the next one.
Look, it was... don't think I'm over it now, but probably left it behind. I still mean that one.
We're into transfer season now, Davo. Surely this is
it's going to be
the focus changes.
It's going to be the longest couple of months of all time, I'm telling you. All the I3Ks round with one another.
Yeah, really will. It's Seany. It's going to be, we enjoy watching the football. We enjoy talking about the football, but the transfer season can be a bleeding pain. So strap yourself in or remove ourselves from Twitter for the summer. What do you think?
Just with you off. Like, I don't have the energy to take anything in regarding football, to be honest with you, after that season.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a personal reevaluation for me after this season, because when I look back, I didn't enjoy it at all when I should have. You know what I mean? I was fucking too busy worrying about what was going to happen, and you focus too much on the destination, and you get the journey becomes kind of lost. So when I look back, like, went out for the match on Saturday, and I didn't enjoy it at all. Not one bit. Gav probably tell you, I couldn't talk to anyone. Anyone talking to me, I was pure Scorpy. I was fucking up the wall, and bit of a lesson for me, I think. A bit of mental callous, but I'm definitely over this one quicker than I was Kiev. Thanks to the parade, which I thought beforehand was a bit of a damn squib of an idea. Fuck me, was I wrong? Because it gave me exactly the type of lift that I needed. Seeing that content and seeing the players and seeing some of the newer lads who probably haven't experienced that at the club. That gave me a right lift. Now, I'm not going to turn around and say I'm buzzing for the next season. Just, I'll probably flick back on Twitter late July and the place will be burning down, but I'll be ready to probably watch football again, because thank God there's now fucking woke up again this summer as well. So a break, the first break from football in a long time.
Very true, very true. Emma,
yeah,
good weekend.
Yeah, still paying for it. I'm like Seany. I got over this one a little bit quicker than I would have got over Kiev. The Kiev one, I wanted to be turning tables upside down and everything. It was an injustice and all sorts. But on Saturday night, when the final whistle went, I just kind of walked away from everybody I was with and just went off for a little thing to myself, and I was walking by people and they were talking about not scoring in finals. I was like, just get me away from everybody. And where I was, I think there was probably close to 10,000 people watching it in Liverpool in the M&S Bank Arena. But I just took a few minutes to myself, and again, we kind of got back towards city centre. It was like everybody was talking about, like Seany said, the parade, and I had a kind of a feeling as well that it was, like, you know what I mean? Are many people going to show up? We were always 100% going to go and see the parade. Like, but I'm just glad that so many people actually did show up, because I was at the 2019 one and it was as good. People with speakers, the smoke bombs for hours before they even came, everybody singing, bags of cans all over the place. It was absolutely brilliant. And I think Seany's right as well, that it does give the players, I think it was Robbo did an interview beforehand and said they weren't particularly looking forward to it, but then once they got onto the bus and saw the amount of people out showing their appreciation, it will give them a lift. And I think it probably gave the supporters a bit of a lift as well, that maybe the people that still were a bit down from the night before. Yeah, but like I've said before as well, but like Klopp coming out, any other manager that comes out and says, where's the final next year, book your hotel, you think you're setting yourself up for an absolute ribbon next season. But I don't think there's anybody that doesn't believe that we won't have a good fist of getting back there next season. So yeah, no, I'm not 100% over it, but not as sore as I would have been. So.
Yeah, look, that's it, isn't it? You know, as Kev said there a second ago on the comments, the first one in 18, you didn't know where we were going, and we've proved nearly since then that this team is the real deal. And look, whether we make it back or not next year, we all know we're going to put in a good fist of it and really give it a go. So, yeah, I think we're all sort of, I said it tongue-in-cheek that we should be over the heartbreak by now, but the reality is this team's all business, and whatever happens throughout the summer, whatever team we have, you know, in whoever's in the lineup, basically come August, I'm sure they'll be good enough to do the business. But what we're going to do tonight, lads, we're going to have a little look back, not at the season. It's a review of the season, but it's of the players. So we're going to go through a lot of the first team squad here, and we're going to give them a little rating out of 10 for their season. How they performed. Did they go above expectation, below expectations? Is there anyone that stood out particularly for you? And look, we may clash on some of these. One may think someone was a 2, and another one might think he was a 10. But sure, we wouldn't be Liverpool fans if there wasn't a bit of that. So we're going to start off with the goalkeepers, lads, and I won't start off with the main man first, but I'll start off on Caoimhín Kelleher. And Davo, I'm going to come to you. What did you make of Caoimhín's season, and how do you feel he performed throughout? Like, will he look back as having a good season?
I think he will. Yeah, I think when you're involved in such a big game and having a big part in that game as well, and played very well in the game, and then obviously what happened in the penalty shootout, you'd have to be happy with how his season went. I'd say he probably would have liked to get more games in the FA Cup. Emmet was telling us before he came on, it was 2. He played, I think he played all the Carabao games, didn't he? Am I right in saying he played all the Carabao games?
Allison came in for one, didn't he?
For one, did he? And listen, keepers get, you know what I mean, if you make a mistake, it's a goal. I think one of the goals against Leicester, he might have done better for in the game. He come back and win on penalties, but he's young for a goalkeeper, and he's not getting an awful lot of game time. So when you're thrown in, like we've seen it with other players, outfield players, more experienced players that are coming in and out, and they're not doing it. So it's obviously going to be difficult for a goalkeeper behind Allison. But no, listen, I think Kelleher will have to be very, very happy with how his season panned out.
Seany, what about you? Caoimhín Kelleher, done the business for you?
Yeah, look, the competition he played in, he won. Simple as that. Klopp backs him, leaves him in for the final, and doesn't save a penalty on the show. I'm sure he doesn't, but he's brilliant in that game. He actually has a really good game, and Kelleher is a smashing number 2. Obviously the other fella is the main man, but it's not like seasons gone by where you see Kelleher in the lineup and you're going, oh fuck's sake, here we go. Even Adrian put the shites up you like that, you know, Karius in previous years. But I fully trust Kelleher as number 2, and I think this is a little bit selfish on my side. The longer we can keep him there, the better, because I do think he's definitely a top half of the Premier League goalkeeper. I reckon there is teams he can into. I reckon he get games for West Ham. You know, I reckon he probably starts at Brighton, Palace. You know, I think he's that good. And he's some big moments, like Dav says, bit of a rick against Leicester. But look, nothing seems to faze me. He's just very stoic lad, and his face is going to be up on that wall now in Kirby, where if you've won a trophy, you're up there, and that's exactly all Klopp would have asked for. In terms, like, there's going to be a few players in this list, I reckon, where you don't rate them on their seasons, but you rate them on what their position is in the squad and how effective they are at what they were doing. And if you're giving them marks out of 10, you're going to have to say 10, because the fella won the competition he played in, and he was very good. It wasn't like he was just carried through. It was mishmashed defences, and he was thrown in there, and he done the business.
Exactly. Emmet, what about yourself, Caoimhín Kelleher?
Yeah, I echo what both Seany and Davo say. Like, he's like, it's a lot of pressure for a manager to put it on and say this is Caoimhín's competition. But then he goes and wins. Like, I know he goes and wins it with the rest of the lads. Like, but like, he's only really given one competition, and he scores what proved to be the winning penalty in the penalty shootout. And exactly like what Seany says is that if a lineup comes out any week for any game and you see Kelleher there, you don't really kind of bat an eyelid. All right, you're wondering what's wrong with Allison. But you're not really kind of overly worried. Where I don't think there's probably many teams in the Premier League that if they had to put their number 2 in goal would be kind of a bit worried. But yeah, look, I wouldn't go and give it 10. There's always room for improvement, so maybe a 9.8.
Now start giving me points, round numbers.
I think he's had a fantastic season, and always there should anything go wrong, and nobody having to worry should he have to step in to replace Allison. I think he did. Did he? He played one Premier League game?
Yeah, he came in against Chelsea, didn't he? When there was a COVID or something, or was I don't know, international or something, and Allison was stuck back, and he had to come in, and he played well.
He played very well.
Yeah. And the one thing that Seany said there as well is that nothing seems to phase him for someone that's kind of that young. Like, he's only 22. Like, I don't know where he gets it from. I think, it's kind of wise more than his years or whatever they say. But and he's learning from what's the best goalkeeper in the world. Like, and you can see in him that he kind of plays nearly very similar to Allison as well. So I would like to be very kind of selfish like Seany and say that the longer we can keep him, the better. But that's probably going to prove difficult, I would say, in the next season or two.
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot to be said for working with the goalkeeper and coaches that he is at the moment. You know, I don't think he probably doesn't see that there's a rush to move at the moment, which is great. You know, long may it last. So we'll quickly get a score off each. Is Davo out of 10?
9.
Seany?
Also, I'm probably going to blame. I'll go 9 again. I'll go 9. 10 is probably.
Emmet?
Yeah, 9. We're not doing 0.5, no?
No. I don't have enough ink for all that. We'll move on to the next keeper, which we all know is Allison Becker. Sean, I'm going to start with you. Allison Becker, good season, bad season, a different season. Talk to me.
Player of the year, 10 out of 10.
No arguing, no
Simple
need to drag that
Simple.
one.
There's been so many good performers in this team this year who have intermittently performed throughout the team. But Allison has been outstanding from day one. And I had a little think about it today. I think there's one game he has a rick, and it's against Spurs away, I think, for their second goal. But I look back then just to check it, and he makes one of the most ridiculous saves from Dele Alli I've ever seen. Yeah. It's ridiculous how good he is. Genuinely, I know, look, overshadowed on Saturday because of just how good Courtois was, but I genuinely think he's levels above the second best goalkeeper in the world. We're so lucky to have him. And for me, he was our player of the year. And normally, if you're giving your goalkeeper player of the year, it would suggest something was wrong. But for me, Allison is a moments player, and he keeps us in so many games with his big moments. You could put your house on him 10 times out of 10. He never let you down. He's so good. In previous seasons, he had a couple of injury issues, and he seems to have kind of gotten over them wherever it be. I think he missed a couple of games with COVID. But for me, it's 10 out of 10, our player of the year. He's absolutely fucking colossal, and I would go as far as saying he's probably the second most important name on our team sheet for me. Although I was only saying I would be calm in terms of Kelleher going in the goal. Allison is the reason why we challenge on all fronts. It's as simple as that. It's the reason why we're close to league titles and Champions Leagues every year, because he's literally top tier, and you don't win anything without a world-class goalkeeper. And we have the best, in my very biased opinion, but I'm sure most will agree.
Yeah. Davo, as a goalkeeper yourself, Seany touched on something there that Allison is a moment's goalkeeper. And, you know, Courtois was excellent. You know, he was under not a lot of pressure, but a lot of shots coming at him. It's different when you're having to face one or two things, isn't it, in a game? Or it might be late in the game when you're having to do your first moment, but he's always there, isn't he? He's just unbelievable.
Yeah, look, that's when you're at the elite sides, that's what you're paid for. You're not out there to make 8 saves a game. It's like really the original ones. If you look back over the years, Premier League years and all that, like Schmeichel used to get plenty of work because teams weren't like United. Like defensively, they weren't as good as some teams to be. Now they were obviously brilliant, but you'd find a lot of them lads who get a lot of work. With Czech was really the first one I remember with Chelsea that he never really had a lot to do, but when he had to do it, he was superb. And that's, like you said, Keith, that's where you make your money. You mightn't have anything to do for 80 minutes and then you need to make one save. And you make it, and Seany is spot on about Mom. I think there was only an article there a while ago, wasn't it, about 1v1s and the XG, and he was top of that. I think he'd stopped 9 more goals than he should have, or 8.5 more goals than he should have on XG on 1v1s. And even if you look at the Wolves game, like they slipped through and could have took the lead again after we equalised, and he makes a save again. So I agree with Seany, 10 out of 10. There was the Spurs game. Seany's agreed with that. I don't know what got save of the season or if match of the day he even do it anymore or whether it was in it.
I think his double save against Norwich actually did the first game of the season.
At least the right man got it, but not the right save. That save against Spurs was absolutely fucking frightening. He's absolutely no right whatsoever to be getting anywhere near that. And he tips it around the post. And like Seany said, obviously he made a mistake later in that game, but sure, he got his elbow with the save. And I think West Ham, he probably should have done better away. One of their goals is a 1v1, but listen, he's absolutely unbelievable. Best in the world. Yeah, listen, Courtois, like Seany said, excellent the other night, but I wouldn't be swapping Allison for him anyway, put it that way.
Yeah, indeed. Emmet, anything different than the lads?
That's my dog, by the way, that everybody's giving out about. I'll get him sorted now in a sec. No, I fully agree with Seany. I would say 10 out of 10, and I would put Allison as probably as our player of the season as well. No doubts. He's the reason why we can play that high line so well, is that we know that, number one, if they do very rarely break the offside trap, that he's there. Nobody wants to go one-on-one with Allison. One thing you would hear, or you'd never hear really with Allison, is that he should have done better with that. He saves everything it's possible for him to save, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? There's never kind of like one that kind of he saves everything. That's
it makes it look easy. Makes it
I don't want to say easy. Everything that's close to him. But like, do you know what I mean? If you're scoring against him, he's obviously you've got no chance of getting it.
You're earning it. You're working for it.
Yeah. So definitely I would give 10 out of 10 and player of the season. He's made so many important saves. And a lot of the time they go unnoticed. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not top corner or last ditch, or do you know what I mean? He has got them. They're just he's on top of you. Like, even I can't even remember what it was last week where the player got through, but again he looked up from actually getting the ball at his feet. Alisson's right in front of him. How quickly he actually moves. 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, indeed. I echo that as well. He's my player of the year as well. 10 out of 10. He's been absolutely brilliant. We'll move on. We'll get through some of these quickly. Joe Gomez. I'll just give one of his, because I know Davo has to be up early, and if we go through each of these players, we'll be here till tomorrow. Davo, I'll stay with you. Joe Gomez, how do you feel Gomez's season went?
Do you know what? I actually think, listen, injury-wise, it's not brilliant, but I think towards the end of the season, he got in and he played his part, and he didn't let anyone down. And listen, I think we've said it before on here. The only thing about Gomez is, or the only the bad point hanging over his head when he plays right full back anyway, is that he's not strength. But other than that, he's very, very capable. I know some of the lads think he's probably England's best centre back. I'm not sure about that, but I do think he's played his part this year, and with a bit of luck. Listen, I wouldn't be looking to get rid of him or anything like that. Like, I do think you need four centre backs, if you're going to be challenging the way we are, and I've no problem with Gomez being one of them. And I just hope the injury kind of stuff is starting to get behind him, because listen, he did get in, he did play, and he did play well in a position that's really not foreign to him, but the way we play, he's not obviously. It's not ideal with Trent missing out and him coming in. But I thought he did very well going forward in games as well. So now I'd probably say Gomez 7 out of 10.
Very fair, very fair. Lads, I'll just get a score off you. We don't have to go into him. Shawnee, Gomez, out of 10.
7 is fair. 7 is fair for Gomez.
I was thinking the same.
7. Right, so we give him 7s across the board there. Fair play. Emmet, I'll come to you. We'll do Kostas Tsimikas.
Again, it's very similar to Kelleher. You have no kind of worries if you look at a lineup and he's in there instead of Robbo. There could be some arguments to say that in certain games he's probably played a little bit better than Robbo. You've seen shouts of people actually looking for him to start ahead of Robbo. No worries about him. Gets forward. I think what he does is, whereas Robbo gets kind of further up the pitch and it's nearly like cutbacks, crosses, I think Tsimikas offers something different where he seems to cross it from a little deeper, which can make a massive difference. But scored the winning penalty again in the FA Cup final. Ran towards the Chelsea fans with his ears cupped. That gives him an extra 1 point. I'd go maybe 8 out of 10. Seems that we're not doing halves.
Yeah, you're not getting halves.
No, definitely. Look, like I said, does anybody have any worries of him going in that left back instead of Robbo? I don't think they do. So, and look, with everything, even with not going back on Joe Gomez, and I know Davo said that we'd hold on to him. 5 subs is going to be absolutely massive next season. Absolutely massive. And the likes of your Gomez and your Tsimikas will get more game time. And I think I said it, that we can rotate from half to half now instead of game to game. So 8 for Tsimikas.
8 for Tsimikas. Davo, do you agree?
Yeah. Listen, I probably wouldn't go as high as giving him a 9, but really like him. Yeah. He's exactly what you want in a backup left full. If people are kind of shouting for him, probably wrongly in my opinion, that he should start ahead of Robbo. But listen, if it's starting a debate, he's obviously doing something right. And listen, I know we're going to move on to Trent in a while, but if we could get someone in on that side, I know that young lad off Aberdeen or whatever, someone, if we could get a right side at Tsimikas, we'd be laughing.
Indeed, we would. Shawnee, out of 10, Kostas.
8 is 8 again. My only gripe with Tsimikas is I don't think he played enough minutes. I don't think he was given enough minutes. I think Robbo could have been rotated more. And it started to show towards the back end of the season because Robbo was running on fumes. And I think one thing Klopp's done really well this year is rotate, but I feel that there's games where Tsimikas could have started. But I think that's a symptom of success of not wanting to change lineups when you need to win every game every week. So that's just the nature of it at the moment. So a brilliant player, Tsimikas is. And again, if you can hold on to him, I'm being selfish. You do it all day. You do everything you can to keep him around. He's a brilliant player.
Indeed. Shawnee, I'm going to stay with you. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I think it's his best season that he's had at Liverpool for many reasons. I think you've seen him grow physically. Look, people are getting on his back about Saturday, right? I'm not having it because there's 2 or 3 players who should have been doing something before he did, all right? Just going back to Robbo. Robbo's tiredness sets up, but we won't get into that. In the big games, Trent has been fucking superb defensively. I've noticed him. I think he's come on a lot. Especially in that FA Cup final, I thought he was unbelievable on that. And the other night, he makes a couple of brilliant defensive cuts across where you can see they're trying to expose him now and he's wide to it. And you need to realise that he's still so young, Trent. And there's no such thing as a faultless footballer, especially no faultless 23-year-olds. I genuinely think he's been unbelievable. He's a bit of a catalyst in their team. You can see him taking the game by the scruff of the neck sometimes and flying, like really, really trying to make things happen. And I think he probably takes it on too much sometimes. And I won't have anybody getting on Trent's back. He's fucking incredible. He's the best right back in the world by a stretch. I don't give a fuck who you compare him to. Genuinely, I really don't. He's so good. We're lucky to have him. People saying he should be pushed up probably into Hendo's position. And look, I think they could probably even experiment with it next year, moving him up and playing Gomez in games there and just seeing him there, because people don't realise that he has, that's the way he's told to play. Now, sometimes you can't see him lazy, but he was leggy as fuck the other night. He's played 63 games. For me, Trent has been unbelievable. One of our better outfield players. It's a 9 out of 10 season for Trent for me. I think the kid is incredible. Genuinely. I'm a bit hairy for favourite players, but he's probably my favourite player in this team. I absolutely love him.
Good stuff. Emmet, score for Trent for the season?
Yeah, I'd agree. 9. Solid, yeah.
Davo? Sorry.
Go on, yeah.
No, go on. I'll let you have a little word on Trent. Go on.
No, I agree. Again, I agree with Seany. He seems to, this season, he's picking up a more kind of central position in games as well.
Yeah.
Which may look, he's obviously been told to do that, and he's not doing it off his own bat. But he's becoming, I think, what we've seen this season is a little bit more of a leader as well. You're kind of starting to see a possible future kind of captain of Liverpool there as well. He is, like Seany said, physically bigger. Like you go back and look at any matches from even 18, 19. There was more meat on a butcher's pencil. Like, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he looks absolutely solid, and yeah, you could see him move into midfield. I think it was Jamie Home said before though that he probably is better with the game in front of him. But yeah, experiment with it, see how it goes. But 9 for me, yeah.
Davo?
Yeah, 9. I probably wouldn't go as high as 10. You're not giving us the half point, so yeah, 9 is fair. Just an unbelievable player. He's, look, we mentioned before about not being, like, if Allison had to drop out and Kelleher goes in, or Robbo and Tsimikas. I think that is the one really when Trent drops out. Gomez has done well, but when Trent is out, you kind of start thinking, I hope it's not fucking for too long. Because listen, he's imperative to how we play. The triangles, going right back to the start of the season when Harvey Elliott was in before his injury, the triangles there between him, Mo, and that. Mo and Harvey Elliott, and obviously with Hendo and Mo as well. That's the triangles. Like, same with the other side. I've gone on about it before. I think that they're key to how we play. The kind of they move around and intertwine, and then his delivery, like, it's absolutely second to none. Yeah, best in the world. Wouldn't have anyone else ahead of them. Alice Reece, James Shoitok. He's a wing back with fucking 3 centre backs behind him. Don't be letting fucking people kid you about fucking him. Yeah. Good player now, in fairness, but he's not a right full back. So quality, 9 out of 10.
Good stuff. Davo, I want to stay with you. Joel Matip.
Probably would have given him player of the year in January or February, to be honest with you. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable. I don't think anyone here or WhatsApp groups or any fans thought we'd get the amount of games we got out of him. And listen, I probably, like I said, if say February you asked me who our best player was, I probably would have went Gomez or Allison, Matip or Allison. Obviously Mo was in with a show, but I think Matip kind of took us all back with how many games he was able to put together and his performances. Thought he was excellent. Thought he was really good. I thought there was games where carry isn't the right word, but I thought there was games that Virgil had to lean on him.
Yeah,
quite a bit in some games because he's obviously coming back from the injury. I thought there was games when Matip really stepped up. I was kind of the senior one in there in games, but I think it's also good going forward for the team that, like, Konate has kind of got in a bit at the end of the season and evolved a bit more pace wise and stuff like that. Where he got in, but I definitely 9 out of 10 for Matip for me.
Lads, I have to interject. Just seen it there. Did you see the video of Klopp in the nightclub with Diaz's brother?
No, I heard what's
he's a fucking I swear. Can we just talk about Klopp for the rest of this?
He's fucking an 11 out of 10, 11.5.
Look at this, boys.
Love it. What a fella.
He's the best, isn't he?
He is the best. He is the
He's
best.
going around with a little man bag on him the night club. I'm
Fair
sorry,
play to him.
boys. I'm sorry.
Okay, give us your score for Matip there, Seany.
See, do you know what? We were too so close to winning everything, and if we did, he would have been one of them players that's getting a 10 out of 10. He was unbelievable. I'd say, on the whole, our best centre back this season, and it's mad he found himself out of the team at the back end because of Konate. He was unbelievable, and just when he's fit, he's so fucking good. And we all knew this. We knew this for forever since he's come in. And like Dav said, I think he carried Van Dijk through games. And again, another one. I think he should have been in the team of the year ahead of Ruben Diaz. I genuinely did. When I seen he was in there, when I seen Matip wasn't getting any love, I was kind of shocked. He's been so fucking good. He's a brilliant player. And another one, I just hope we can keep on because he's so good. He could probably play for any team in Europe. And I'm being serious saying that. I think, for me, he's a 10. He's a 10 out of 10.
Emmet.
Yeah, I'd be happy enough to go with the 9 as well. He was up until, like Davo said, January, February time, probably our best central defender. And he got his Maisie goal against Leeds, wasn't he? Unbelievable. The way he carries, is there anyone better than him at carrying the ball out of defence into midfield? I don't think there is. There was even shouts when Fabinho looked like he was injured that they should play Matip in the defensive midfielder role. I think he actually played there for Schalke. It is amazing. Everybody had him kind of dead and buried with his injuries and that. We won't mention Keith selling him last summer.
Purely down to injuries.
But he's had an absolutely like a resurrection. And I would like to say, if it can happen to Matip, I think it can happen to Gomez as well. So I think too many people wrote Gomez off too soon. And then when he came back in the games that he played this year, he showed what he's got. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, Matip, absolutely solid and a 9 for me as well.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in and say 10 for Matip as well, like Seany, because I feel in a season where we had 2 centre-backs coming back from ACL injuries and we had a new centre-back in Konate, we needed somebody to go in there and nearly, I know, as Seany said, carry it. Yeah, carry it, because do you remember, lads, at the start of the season and we played Chelsea and everything on Sky was Lukaku against Van Dijk. Didn't get near Van Dijk. Matip had him in his pocket in the game. It was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Matip, unbelievable. Right, who had Matip there? Was that Davo?
Yeah.
Emmet, Konate.
An absolute monster. Was kind of eased into the team, I think, as well. It's pretty similar to the way Robbo and Fabinho was, but he seems to be a great kind of character around the dressing room and the club as well. But when he's come in, like, I'm 6'3", I'm not 100% sure what size he is, but I've never probably moved as fast as he can, and he's an absolute monster over the ground. Like, I think people on the pod before said if they were going to, it might have been Chris or Kev, if you're going to go into a lab and make a centre back, that's who you make. And he's been absolutely okay. He's had, I think it was against Benfica. Was it Benfica?
Benfica, yeah. Benfica.
And an air shot.
Wolves as well when he misses the header.
But he's chipped in with his fair amount of goals as well. When Van Dijk was rested and Matip and Konate played, you could actually see he was marshalling the defence and shouting at them and barking orders at them as well. Probably not. He hasn't probably not played as many games as others, but I think, what would I give him? From his, I'll go. See, it's getting tough now. I'm going to go 8. And there'll be eyebrows raised because that's look, he's still young. He still has a little mistake in him, but he's only going to learn. But yeah, I'll go for this season. Konate an 8.
Seany, Konate.
An 8 as well. I think the sky is the limit for the kid. You aren't familiar, but the Spanish, the show El Chiringuito, they didn't stop going on about him after the game. They were blown away by him. They were in awe of him because it's like they don't really pay attention until they see him. And he was absolutely superb in the final. And Klopp has trusted him in a couple of the big games this year, and you can see why. He's 22. Like I said, like what player is defensively accomplished completely at 22? None. He's going to be frighteningly good. Genuinely, he's learning from the best. He fits in with the squad. You could see him from day one. He was having the buzz. You can see him the other day on the bus. You heard Trent talking about him the other day. People seem to be genuinely blown away by him. And to be honest, like, this is a big show. Obviously, we miss Virgil and they struggle against Wolves, but like Matip and Konate, they're probably starting for every other team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's how good they are. We're so lucky. The kid is going to be ridiculous. And the longer he's overlooked for France, the better for us, to be honest with you, because you just want to keep him out of it. Because
Totally agree.
It's literally going to get to the stage where he's 25, 26, and he will be the premium centre-back in the world. Up there, definitely, without a doubt. It's looking like an absolute steal. And it's just so unlucky for Joe Gomez that he's behind these two, because he has a real job on his hands. For me, Konate 8, because he is young. He has had ricks, but they're mistakes you could forgive a 23-year-old for making. The sky is the limit. This kid is frightening. Genuinely. He will gather that aura that Van Dijk has where you're going, oh, I'm not fucking going at him. And because that's what he has. He's an absolute colossus. An 8 for me, only because you can see the potentials there that he will be a 10 out of 10 centre-back in years to come.
Yeah. Davo.
We agree with everything the boys said, but I'm gonna give him a 9 just for his performance in the final. And like me and you spoken before, Keith, WhatsApp groups, he gets a bit of a half a point because he's not Upamecano, because he's fucking brutal. And we absolutely got the right one out of 2 there off Leipzig. Like, no bones about it. Yeah, Seany's right, couple of ricks, but he's gonna be unbelievable in a couple of years. Like, fucking whoever said go into a lab, make a centre half, they're spot on, because that's him. 22, has everything. Brilliant. I'm gonna give him a 9 just for the final. He was absolutely fucking outrageously good.
Yeah, I'm with Davo. I'm giving him a 9 as well. Plays in the big games, and I think, swatting Fred aside and laughing at him, so many moments that he's had big goals. I think it's been near on a perfect season for a young centre-back to come in and do it. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. Davo, I'll stay with you. Andy Robbo.
Andy Robbo. Yeah, listen, my memory is cat anyway. I'm kind of struggling to kind of think back. Listen, my gut feeling is Robbo had a very, very good season. I know we missed parts of it at the start, and Tsimikas got in, did very well. A lot of people, like Emmet was saying earlier, calling for him to start. They had a Robbo. I was never really one of them. I think Robbo was number 1 there. He's the nailed on starter. He's obviously getting on in years, Robbo, a bit, or he's gone towards 30, but I think he's our number 1. He drives us forward. And I thought, particularly, like I said to you, my memory's kind of fried a bit, but I know he was running on fumes, but I thought he was putting in some good performances even when he was running on fumes, and he was driving us on. I thought he was driving the team on, like, late enough in the season as well, getting forward. He gets the goal against Everton. But like I said, my memory's kind of fucking cat, and it's mashed after the last week. So my thoughts on Robbo is I'd probably say a 9 for Robbo, to be honest. I don't know what the boys think. They might be able to shine a bit more light in specifics and stuff like that. But now, listen, like, me gut feeling, Robbo had a very good season.
Emmet.
Yeah, I think he did have a really good season. It probably not his best season, but still a really, really good season. And like Davo said, he chipped in with goals. Probably could have had a rest more often. I think Seany said that Tsimikas probably could have been played a little bit more, and we probably would have seen an extremely good season out of Robbo. But he's that. I don't want to say he's the brave heart on the pitch, but I think there was one game where it was the 85th or 90th minute. I can't even remember what game it was, but he literally chased the ball or went on a run actually all the way up the pitch, and it kind of made you think, he's probably not going to start the next game now. He's absolutely bursting his bollocks, and he actually did start the next game. Yeah, I'd agree with Davo and 9. Not a good season, but probably not his best season, but still worth a 9.
Seany?
I'd say a 9. The only reason you kind of mark these players down because of brilliant seasons in the past, like Robbo's had 10 out of 10 seasons for us, and I still believe that he's the best left back in the world, so a 9 for me. Obviously, tired towards the back end of the season, really well, but battled through and was a catalyst in some games. Like Trent, can take the onus on himself to go and kind of get stuff done. He scored a couple of big goals this season for us. Brilliant. Don't let what happened last Saturday overshadow it. He was absolutely brilliant. I genuinely believe he's the best left back in world football.
Yeah, I agree. Seany, last one for you now. The big fella, last of our defenders, Virgil van Dijk.
See, I feel that Virgil A is a 10 out of 10 for everyone else. Because, again, like, it's man I'm saying this, he's the best centre-back I've ever seen. All right? And there was games where he looked like he was coming back, but you need to realise the injury he came back from and how easy he made it look. And I think when it got to around January, February, he was firing on all cylinders and he was the best in the world again. Considering what he's been through, it's a 10 out of 10 for me again, to be honest with you, because you can't give Matip a 10 out of 10. And Virgil is just like others. He's held to higher standards than everyone else. So you can't kind of, people will hold that against him. You know what I mean? But wasting me time even was stuck for time here. He's a 10 out of 10. Best in the world. Be back next year. Will be hungry. You can tell that hurt him on Saturday. And he when we are being led to victory in seasons coming, Virgil will be the bedrock that success is built on, him and Ali, because they don't let you down normally. So, yeah, hopefully he has a nice big rest now in the summer and comes back, because he said it himself the other day, this is my comeback season. I always looked at it that way. And next year I hope to be better. So, yeah, Virgil for me, 10 out of 10. Fella's fucking incredible.
Yeah. Davo, Virgil.
Yeah, look, I think Seany is spot on. I think an 8 or a 9 for Virgil is fucking a 10 or 11 for anyone else at all. Like what I mentioned earlier about, like, I don't think Virgil was fucking bad, and like I can't listen. I know people in the chat probably remember specifics, but so I can't remember sitting here going, "Geez, Virgil was shite there." I think there was just some games where he needed Matip, and Matip kind of delivered for him. But I do think, listen, he'll be like he's coming back after a year out. Like you have to remember, like even he played the Euros, even saying, "Listen, I'm gonna put my head down, put all my eggs, getting back into in the basket of Liverpool and getting back right on the pitch there, so we can be good enough for Holland." So comeback season was gonna be tough for him, patchy enough start at times, but yeah, look, I'll just give him a 9. Do you know what I mean? He's the best in the world. He'll be back again. Like no issues at all, no worries, no issues. 9 out of 10 for me.
Emmet?
The only reason I'm giving him a 10 is because the amount of games he played.
Yeah.
We thought he would have been rested.
Nah, he ploughed on, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's a fucking machine. Honestly, it's not human. It's not normal what he done this year. Genuinely, it's not like them injuries used to be a death sentence.
Yeah.
I think he played nearly every league game, bar the last one.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I was gonna say the same. If only for his injury, I would go 9. But because of his injury, I'm gonna go 10, and the amount of games that he played. And Seany touched on it there. ACL injuries like that have ended people's careers. So this isn't a sprained ankle like that he's come back from. It's like a major surgery on his knee. Yeah, again, he's an absolute machine. Like I saw somebody there recently calling him a jockey merchant, but like a defender, I think it was Maldini, wasn't it? Said if I have to make a tackle, I've already made a mistake. Van Dijk is getting the ball off lads without even having to make a tackle. We saw Martinez and even Dzeko to a point as well for Inter. They looked up and saw who was in front of them, and I think Martinez started heading towards the exit Anfield. So he has that kind of aura about him, and I think it was Seany that said that Konate, well, maybe it was Davo, that Konate will have that as well, and you can kind of really see that. I think with Konate, I can't remember who it was that was running down the wing. They kind of looked to see who it was, and they were resigned to actually getting the ball taken off them. But to have that aura and to not have to make tackles, is he going to make mistakes? Yeah, definitely. Everybody makes mistakes, but yeah, he's an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender. The tactic of the high line obviously comes from Klopp, but I would imagine that he's the real enforcer on the pitch when it comes to the actual calls for it or anything like that. You can see, like normally you see midfielders that have their head on a swivel. It's like Van Dijk has his head on a swivel to see where the forwards are. And even in a few games, you just see him taking that just slight step up and the players are being called offside. I stopped actually keeping count of how many times. I don't know. I'll have to look it up how many times we caught teams offside this, but it was more than, it was probably approaching 3 times the amount any other team in the Premier League. And Van Dijk is one of the real reasons for that. So yeah, 9 back from ACL, 10 because he came back and played so many games.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, so we're nearly an hour in and we're only finishing the defence. So what we'll do is we'll leave a few players off and we'll come back to them at the end if we have time. So Emma, I'm going to stay with you. Fabinho.
Yeah, I think a little bit like Robertson, that it was a great season from Fabinho, but probably not his best season, isn't it? It's mad that we're saying that, and we fucking played every single minute of every single game that we could possibly play this season. He's had a few injuries as well, and sometimes he's not one of these players that can come back in and get straight back into the rhythm. And it's a lot of talk about rhythm this season as well with the team. He's had a few bad games. Yeah, I would go. I still want to say annoying for Fabinho, because everybody slags us for saying we were the best player in the world in every position, but I think like some of the players that have gone before him tonight, that he is probably one of the best players in his position, and normally he would be a 10 out of 10, but I'll go 9 for his not as good as previous seasons, but still an excellent season from Fabinho.
No worries. Seany, Fabinho, how do you feel he's done?
Brilliant footballer. Like I feel like the season was that good, and is kind of, you're saying that someone wasn't as good. I think there was games where Fabinho struggled. There was games where I was watching Fabinho and he was going, "Fuck, he's struggling here." And there was a few games like that. But again, leggy, a couple of injuries, didn't he? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
He misses a few games here and there, and famously, he struggled sometimes coming back from injury. I think he's a player in the summer who needs help. I think in the summer we need someone who can carry the burden that he does, because he's the really only specialist number 6 that we have at the club. And he's really, really good. He's up there with the best in the world, no doubt about it. An 8 for me. Not a slight on him. Brilliant player. Just an 8 out of 10 for me. I feel he can even kick on and be even better.
Davo.
Yeah, I'd probably go 8 from him. Yeah, just a few injuries, and like Emmet said, he does struggle to kind of get back up to the pitch a bit. And now we mentioned players running on fumes. What I thought Fabinho was really running on fumes come the end of the season. I think the injury at Villa Park is all down to that. I think his performance at Villa Park is probably all down to that. I think it's probably the worst I've ever seen him playing for how many minutes he was on for. He got injured in the first half, didn't he? I thought he was really struggling, running on fumes. I thought he was actually, funny enough, I thought he was very good in the final as well. I thought he played well in the final the weekend. But like I said, yeah, listen, I'd probably go an 8 for Fabinho, yeah.
Added goals to his thing this season as well.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I'd probably go with an 8 as well, because he did add the goals, and I think the goals was a big thing that he got in there. But yeah, like I said, it's not a slight. I just think, I don't know what Seany at Davo said, not having that backup there to relieve him of that pressure probably does play on it, and it's something that we do need to address in the summer. But look, another good season by Fabinho. Davo, Thiago.
Thiago. I told you off here before coming on here, my head was fried, but Thiago. Yeah, look, I thought he'd a good season. He kind of turned into one of the players we kind of, the midfield really needed him on the team sheet. You really needed to be on the side. Do you know what I mean? I did think he had a very good season. Looking back on it, like, I thought that was coming from going back to last season. I thought he finished very, very strong last season. Probably one of our better players in the running last season when we got all them wins together to get into the Champions League. I thought he continued it on. Yeah, listen, I thought he's a fucking brilliant player. He's a brilliant player. I think Didi Haman must have been on the whatever he was on, whatever Didi likes being on, talking there, and he's still talking about him. He spoke about him when we signed him, and he's fucking still talking about him. So I don't know what Thiago done on him. He's fucking he's doubling down on it. But the goal against Porto, I don't think it touched the ground. Well, that's a hill I'm willing to die on. It definitely didn't touch the ground. I'm willing to die on that hill.
I'm with you now, yeah.
Do you know what? He's getting, for that goal alone, he's getting a 10. Simple as that. Right? He's getting a 10 out of me. Love 10, it. Thiago, brilliant. And someone that, like, a huge part of the midfield. Who knows what's going to happen with the midfield? It's obviously somewhere we look to strengthen. But he'll definitely be part of it next year.
Emmet, Thiago.
Yeah, I'll agree. For that goal alone, he gets a 10. But in terms of his performances, like, I'm not sure I've ever actually, look, you've got your Messis and Diego Maradona and that, but I don't think I've ever seen someone look always so comfortable on the ball and like they've all the time in the world, and God only knows where he's going to pass it. And yeah, his little drops to the shoulder, like, such a lovely footballer to actually watch play the game, and the way he strokes the ball around. When we first came in, people were saying that he's going to slow us down, and like, he's opening up defenses like packets of crisps, like, do you know what I mean, with his passes. Yeah, I'll go 10, and an absolute joy to watch of a footballer.
Seany.
I'd say a 9. Stupidly good footballer, to be honest with you. I think sometimes it gets too easy for him. That's the only reason why I'm not giving him a 10, because I just think sometimes he just switches off. Cotton Wool needs to be protected. He's so key for this team. Yeah. I'd be happy for him to just sit out games at home against the lower sides. I know that's probably where you need him with the low blocks and all that, but just so key. If we're to win any of the big games, he needs to play. And he missed a few of them this year. And I think that was probably, we'll look back as to why we didn't win the league. And I think the games he was missing against the top 6, top 4 in the end, which we didn't beat any of them, home or away. I think we missed Thiago in probably half of those games. And I think it showed, because I think in those bigger games, in the big moments, he's the player that you want getting on it and making it happen and getting the ball rolling. And just, we missed him at home against City. We missed him at home against Chelsea. We missed him at home. He only comes on again. He doesn't play long against Chelsea. He's injured away to Chelsea. Doesn't get to play against Spurs away, I don't think. So we missed him in those big games. And I think if we had had him in there, we would have won the league. I genuinely believe that. I think that's how good he is. A 9 out of 10. Next year, just protect him at all costs and just look to try get him into it. I know he's not as mobile, and you look at Modric playing there the other night, doing what he's doing at his age. If you can just do something with Thiago and prolong him for as long as we can, because he's absolutely fucking ridiculous to watch as a footballer. He's so technically gifted, it's ridiculous. And the fact that we don't know how fit he was, but Klopp was willing to throw him out there on Saturday would show you how integral he is to this team. So a 9 out of 10 for me.
Excellent stuff.
Only started 17 Premier League games this season.
Yeah.
That's massive. Like,
yeah, he was a stop-start, wasn't it, at the beginning of the season with him? And, you know, I think it perfectly sums up Liverpool that we didn't win any of the games against the top 4 or top 6. We didn't lose any of them either because Liverpool are good and they can put players in, but he's the difference maker that you'd hope in them big games.
And the small margins that it takes to win this league, it's players like him that will provide you with the moments. And we did miss him. I think, like, everyone is pointing out the games. Like, oh, we dropped points here, and there. I think if you just look at our whole, he didn't get to play in the bigger games, and we missed him.
Yeah, indeed. Seany, Jordan Henderson.
It's poor season for a while, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to slaughter him. I think start of the season he really struggled.
Yeah.
To be honest, had his big moments. I don't know whether it was a fitness thing. It looked like his legs were going at one stage, but he had a strong finish to the season. I thought he was good. I'll give Hendo a 7.
Emmet?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Wasn't like, and again, if you're looking back at scores we're giving everybody tonight, like 7 is probably the lowest score. But I don't think it was a terrible season by him, but he did kind of struggle to get going. I think at one point, I'm not sure whether at one point earlier on the season he was wearing a strapping on him, or he's wearing the cycling shorts underneath his shorts. So you're just kind of wondering, is there an issue? I know he struggled with his heel in previous seasons, but like, what is he now? He's 31. He's 31. Is he 32? So he is like, and for the amount of kind of work he does covering that right hand side when he's in there, like, maybe we're starting to lose legs. I mean, midfield is definitely a place where we need to freshen up. And I think others have said as well that you might see him move into that more of a Milner kind of bit part in the squad. But yeah, not a terrible season, but just not his best season.
Yeah, indeed. Davo?
Listen, I agree with the boys. I'll probably go with an 8. I did find myself. I can't pinpoint the games, but I did find myself remembering writing a few tweets where I thought Henderson was man of the match. So there's certainly, like, in the second half of the season, he did kick on, he finished strong, and his leadership was great. Interested enough would have been to see if Harvey Ella hadn't got injured at Leeds, what way things might have panned out, because he was absolutely flying at the time. Getting thrown into some big games as well by Klopp, starting the Chelsea one at home as well. So kind of would have been interesting. That obviously knocked him back a little bit and all. I wouldn't be reading too much into him missing out on some squads and stuff like that because he's only young. But would have been interesting to see what way that might have panned out if Elliot hadn't got injured. But yeah, I'd agree. Probably he's a lot of miles in the legs now. But listen, I'm not putting him out the pasture or anything yet. Obviously, as we were saying, there probably will be midfield reinforcement. So see what way it pans out, but I'll probably go 8 for Henderson. Yeah,
fair enough.
I think Ashley says in the comments there, and this is like on the money. Performance was a 7, but his captaincy was a 9. So he doesn't even necessarily need to be on the pitch for the actual the impact that he has on the squad. So
yeah, very true, very true. Emmet, I'm gonna stick with you. Naby Keita.
See, I like Naby. I'll say 7 as well. I can't give him any higher than Henderson. I think I'll go 8. I'll go 8. Sorry. Yeah, look, I think it's probably his best season. Previous seasons, he's obviously has his injury worries, but he's come back in, and there was games where he was absolutely excellent. And like Davo said, he was writing tweets about Hendo being man of the match. There was definitely times where Keita was man of the match as well. He chipped in with his fair share of goals as well. No more special than the one against United. I'd like to hold on to it. Look, he divides opinion. I like Keita. Like, he will have bad games. All players will have bad games. But I just think he seems to be the scapegoat for the midfield this year. Midfield didn't have the best season this season, but everybody seemed to point to Keita as being to blame. There was games where none of them covered themselves in glory in some games, and it was just Keita, get Keita off when you could have taken any of the midfield three off. I'll go 8. I actually really like him. I always hoped that it would work out for him. We've seen glimpses of it this year. Whether he gets a contract extension or not, I'm not sure. But he has all of the tools. I think just sometimes he can lose a bit of concentration, maybe. Loses the ball a bit. But great going forward. An absolute pressing machine, I have to say. He wins the ball up very high, which really suits the way we play. But yeah, I'll go an 8 for Keita.
Seany, Nabby.
His best season for Liverpool, yeah. Stayed fit. 8 out of 10 for me.
Davo.
And I'd sell him, by the way, to be honest.
Yeah. Just to be clear.
Yeah. No, seriously, I would.
Yeah, I mean, if the rumored money is,
Stock
PSG
is
wanted
up.
to pay silly money, exactly. The stock is high. He's
I
out of
haven't seen that.
contract.
It's 50 million or something.
50
I
million
read
euros.
yeah.
You'd have to
I take
consider.
50 million for him.
Yeah, like him or not. Davo, Nabby.
Yeah, I'd probably go an 8. I think he had a good season. He got in the goals. Some big performances. I just think with him, it's more going the other way. I think it's more defensively. Like, I think from memory, like, listen, I'm not getting into fucking stats or now. There's all fucking Keita lovers out there that'll fire fucking XGs and X everything that you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just kind of going by the eye test. If you remember, I think the Atletico away game, he scores a cracker, but I thought he was absolutely dreadful in the game.
Yeah.
Like, there was runners off the back of him all night. I think they get a goal off one of them as well. So just kind of stuff like that kind of would frustrate you, but bags of talent, got some lovely goals. Obviously, United when he got a cracker at Hampton Palace. But I would concur with Seany. I think if someone comes in with 40 or 50 million, I think he'd be selling them because, listen, he can't stay fit. He stayed fit this year, but what are we talking about? Like, this is what's 4th year, is it, at the club?
5th.
So I think I'd probably listen. I'm not saying fucking get him out the door or anything like that, but I wouldn't be shedding too many tears if he was sold.
Very fair. Right, lads, what we're going to do now, because we are running out of time, I'm just going to throw these names. Just give me a score out of 10. We don't have to go in on any of them, and it's a bit harsh on some of them, but we are running out of time. So, Curtis Jones, Davo, give me a score out of 10.
7.
Seany.
7.
Emmet.
7.
7's all round, fair enough. James Milner, Emmet.
8.
Seany.
7.
Davo.
I'd be in between the two of them. Probably go 7.
Yeah, I'd go 8 for him. I thought he finished the season really strong, to be honest. Harvey Elliott, Davo.
It's a tough one. Listen, I probably would have gone with, like, if you're kind of judging him before the injury, I probably would have gone maybe a 9 for the impact he made coming in as a young player, but injuries and stuff, I'll go 7.
Emmet.
Yeah, 7.
Seany.
I think it's harsh to mark him, to be honest. He didn't. He was looking like he was going to light the place up before the injury. But I'll say 7, and I expect big things from him next year, to be honest.
Yeah, bad injury. He gets back, and it derails him. But look, hopefully we see more. Ox, Seany.
Lowest scored a lot for. And the reason why I'll say 4 is because I actually think his attitude was dog shit at times, and that's inexcusable.
Chances.
Yeah.
Indeed. Emmet.
Yeah, should we go 4?
Davo.
Listen, it doesn't really matter what score they give him. I agree with Seany. I think he's probably going to be the lowest one of the lot. Didn't take his chances when he got in, and didn't look like he kind of wanted to be there half the time. So 5, I'll go 5.
Davo.
Oh, do you know what? Didn't play and all. He missed it. He seemed to miss an awful lot of games through injury this season. I wasn't involved, but gets his customary goal against Everton. Would have liked to see him get some game time before he headed off, but obviously pointed through the post, the Funes Mori tackle. His Liverpool career kind of marred by niggly injuries and all that. Performance-wise in the pitch, probably 7, but I give him a 9 because he's after leaving, and cold hero, quality Liverpool legend, all them words, deserves it all.
Why not? Seany?
10. Purely sentimental 10. Big Divock.
That's allowed.
Thanks for the memories.
Yeah.
All the best, big fella. Similar to Kelleher, when he comes in, he gets goals. And I think, look, if I'm marking him, I'll probably be saying 7, 8, but just because it's Divock, he's getting a 10.
Yeah, indeed. Emmet?
Yeah, I'll go 10 as well. Absolute legend. Like Davo said, it was a shame that he didn't get to play the last few games, particularly at Anfield. But 10 out of 10. We'll go down in history, retire his number.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the fact that he gets his last goal against Everton.
And that's only because I think it's 27. Is he 27?
What, the age or his number?
Oh, his number.
Hang her up.
Yeah,
honestly, put up in the rafters.
27, isn't he?
Yeah, put up in the rafters.
Yeah,
nobody
gets his last goal against Everton. How fitting is that? Yeah, fuck, I'm going for a 10, and I'm changing the Davo score to a 10 as well. From we're interfering with the score there. Davo, Taki Minamino.
Listen, for what Taki is in the squad, I don't know, what was it, 5th choice, maybe 6th after he's well down there. I thought what he brought to the team and the cup competitions, because that's mainly when he played, and he got a big goal away at Southampton. I thought, I don't know, I would probably say for what he brought to the cups that we won and pushing all the way to the league, I'll probably give Taki I'll give him an 8.
Emma?
Yeah, I think 8. He's got 10 goals and 9 starts. He's the top scorer in both the cup competitions that we actually won. Taki's another one that I like as well, or I'd like to see if it work out for him. But again, if somebody comes in like with a silly kind of number, which, do you know what I mean? We only paid, I think, 7.2 million or something for him. So even if we got double that for him, you'd probably take it. But again, with 5 subs, I think he'd probably see a little bit more game time next season. Yeah, I'll go with an 8. So,
Seany?
Similar to Kelleher, his role in the squad, how effectively did he deploy himself? How effectively did he? It's a 10 out of 10 for me for Taki, because if it's not for Taki, we're not on a fucking bus the other day. Yeah. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
Because players like him, you don't win cup competitions without players like him in your squad. And I genuinely believe that's how important he is. Now, the Taki might be sold, because I do think he's good enough to play elsewhere, because he's a good player. It's not like he's shit. It's just he's a good player, and I think he literally done exactly what he was asked. And unlike Ox, once you have a decent attitude, you're going to get bonus points. Exactly, Ashley. I'd have Taki as a 10, because fit for purpose, his role, he did everything we could have possibly asked of him.
Can't ask for more than that, lads. Can we? I think, I was looking, I give him a 9. I was looking at a 10 as well. And I can't really argue with Seany's reasoning there. Attitude is everything. The last one we'll do sort of quickly before we move on to the main one is Bobby. So, Seany, Bobby.
Disappointing season for Bobby. Looks like the old body starting to break down a little bit. Missed an awful lot of games. My favourite player of the club era.
Same here.
Few good cameos in and throughout. Hopefully he can be fitter next season. It's a 7 for Bobby from me. It's a 7. And and I think that's probably being a little bit generous. But yeah, hopefully next year, the fact that he hasn't played so much football this year will stand to him.
Excellent. Emmet?
Yeah, I'd go 7 as well. Definitely not his best season, but mainly down to injuries. I think he might be a bit of a rhythm player as well. Like Fabinho, he comes in and balls are bouncing off his knee, and he just can't really seem to get it under control. So hopefully, yeah, like Seany says, the break over the summer will stand to him. I think we may see him change kind of role a little bit, to maybe going into a midfield 3 or the top of a midfield 3. He can be a bit of a playmaker as well, when you haven't got Thiago in there. But yeah, 7 for me. But sorry as well, my favourite player of the Klopp era as well.
Good show. Davo?
I was kind of thinking 6, but I'm going to give him a 7 just for the header over in the San Siro. Great header, huge goal in the tie. Injuries have taken their toll. Well, looks he obviously didn't play enough games really for us this year, down to injuries. But a huge player for us, particularly like in Europe. How he sets up, how cute he is, getting in on their midfield or centre forward or centre half that's trying to come out with the ball. Brilliant player. Just think maybe, I don't know, how old is Bobby now? Is he 29, 30? Just think
29.
Yeah, I think body could be starting to let him down, but I'll go 7. Yeah.
I agree with the lads. He's my favourite player of the Jurgen Klopp era as well. I love Bobby. I thought he's been good in flashes when he's come on, but hasn't come on enough. So yeah, look, we'll go 7s all across the board for Bobby there. There's no harm in that. So, Emma, I'm going to come back to you. Diogo Jota. You can flesh these ones out if you want, but Diogo Jota.
Yeah, I think we were just a bit unlucky in previous seasons. If someone kind of is a bit off, like Salah has been a bit off, I don't think anybody will deny that. Somebody else kind of, like when it was Bobby, Mane, Salah, one of them could be having an off time, the other two would be kind of on it. And I think Jota started off the season so well, and then he's kind of struggled the back end of it as well. I don't know whether that's because he wasn't starting games or he was getting 10 minutes here or 20 minutes there. But I just thought we could have actually done with him being on form while Salah was off form. You had Mane and Salah obviously had kind of opposite. Mane didn't start great, came back into it. Salah started great, kind of fell off. But I think we could have got a little bit more out of Jota. I'd still probably say an 8 for what he did earlier on in the season. Just expected a little bit more out of him in the back end of the season.
Very fair, very fair. Seany?
Jota it's mad. I think that the whole front 3 have similar seasons in the way it's a tale of 2 halves. Up to Christmas, he's brilliant. After Christmas, he struggles. And we'll obviously get on to the others. But scored a lot of goals for us. Hopefully, he can turn around. Seemed to be one of the players that really benefited from the parade, based on a social media post, which I actually really liked. Don't get me wrong, he's a fucking brilliant player. We've seen him for Portugal, we've seen him for us. I think he'll get going again. I think he got 21 goals in all competition. That's not a bad return for a fella who's in and out of the side, let's be honest. So, I think there's another one who can do with the rest and go full out. I'm going to give Jota an 8 out of 10.
Davo?
Yeah, but listen, I gave Bobby a 7, so I'll be going 8 for Jota. Very, very good first half of the season. Tailed off a little bit then. Kind of, he actually reminds me of Suarez a bit. He's kind of direct and stuff like that, without the kind of bit of stardust that Suarez used to have sprinkled on it as well. He's very direct. Fucking shoots early. You know what I mean? I really like him. I really like him with the way Bobby's season went. He was forced man off the bench when he wasn't starting. He was kind of forced attack and so on. with the way Firmino season went. But yeah, look, I've no worries about Jota. I no issues with him. I think he'll be back fine next year. Like I'm sure he realised anyway, but like he's part of a squad. He's going to start some games. He's going to come off the bench some games. And no issues with him. I think, as Seany said, 21 in all competitions. It's a fairly decent return, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tasty. I can't argue with that. Davo, I'll stick with you. Diaz.
Do you know what? The last, like, a brilliant player, but I do think he needs to do more in front of goal. And that's kind of, I don't know whether the earlier weeks of the season when we were all kind of mesmerised by him, were kind of overshadowing that. I was lucky enough to be at the Norwich game. He took his goal lovely. I'm not actually sure that he get another goal. Benfica, he done very well over in Benfica. He got a goal over there. They got it, and then obviously Féileacáin. Just later on the season, I just think he in front of goal he kind of tailed off a little bit. Some of the hitting the ball straight at defenders. It was kind of frustrating, particularly the Wolves game. I think when we were 1-1 and City were still behind, he'd half the goal to Cole went into not a difficult chance for someone of his stature, and he milled it straight at the defender. And if it didn't hit the defender, the keeper was standing behind him anyway, and he'd caught it. But I will go knowing for the impact he made from January on, and that's just me being picky, obviously, about him in front of goal. I think it will come. Struggled a bit on Saturday, but for what he brought from January on, I definitely, I go 9.
Seany?
9. An injection we needed. I agree with Davo. Will need to work on his end product because he's very frustrating for me. But looks like a fella who hasn't been coached yet. I think Klopp just thrown him in now and said, you do your thing and we'll get a hand on you in the summer and pre-season and we'll get the miles in your legs that's necessary to play for this team, because he was busted come the end. He was bollocks after all the football he played. I think he gets 2 man of the matches in cup finals. A brilliant player. Future is really, really bright. And the reason why Sadio Mane had to play through the middle in the end of the season, so it's looking good for Diaz. I think he's going to be world class.
Brilliant. Emmet?
Yeah, I go 9 as well, and for similar reasons as the two lads have mentioned, like the 2 cup finals, like he did everything but score in the FA Cup final, and realistically, that was probably I think he deserved the goal, but just he needs to start scoring it. Like I think he scored 5 or 6 since January. Just add a little bit more end product, but he's absolute. Like he's unbelievable to watch. Like how quick he is. Nothing is ever out of play with him. I think he showed that on a few occasions. He chases absolutely everything down. Nothing's ever dead. He's like, I think like Seany said, he's not really been coached. He's just been put out there. He's like when you're playing football and this new fella shows up and is just doing all the step over and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, do you know what I mean? So when he's coached, I think it's going to be a big season ahead for him next season.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the no pre-season, or the fact he's going to have a pre-season is big. And the World Cup, he's not going to the World Cup as well. So it'll be another break that hopefully, you know, they can get a bit of energy in his legs. But I think the goals will come with him from what we've seen. Seany, Sadio Mane.
Over the season. See, I don't know. First half of the season he struggled. Second half of the season he's probably our best player. I'm going to give him a 9 though, because he's lit. You know what? I'm going to give him a 10 because he's gone, and he's been so good for us. He owes us nothing. But second half of the season he was reborn in that position. He comes back from the AFCON recharged, and he kind of drags us over the line, I think, before the end of the season. So, 9 for Mane.
Davo?
I'm going to go 10, just purely for, and I'm going to, I know it's quick and stuff like that. I'm going to give Mo a 10 as well, because they just kind of dovetailed, as in, obviously they didn't plan to, because they both want to be quality from start to finish, but Mo was brilliant for Christmas, Sadio after Christmas, and 2 of them were absolutely quality when in those 5 or 6 month periods. So I'm going to go 10 for Mane, yeah.
Emmet.
Yeah, I'll go 10 as well. Like we said, not great start of the season. Like if you looked at it at the start of the season, if you were looking like you're on Twitter and you see sell this player, buy this player, but at the start of the season you'd be selling Mane and keeping Salah. At the end of the season, you'd probably be selling Salah and keeping Mane. They've both done the exact opposite to each other. Yeah, Mane, like Seany says, owes us nothing. Fantastic footballer. Yeah, if only that one crept in on Saturday. It all could have been different. But yeah, if he does, definitely go. Wish him the best, and I'll definitely miss him. He's great to watch, and to have found a new position as well, and for all of us to be getting excited about him playing in the 9, and now he's off. So yeah, we'll give him a 10 anyway.
Yeah, look, Sadio Mane has been amazing, hasn't he? And he wins AFCON as well. You know, he leads Senegal to their first AFCON. He's carrying us on his back for the second half of the season. And yeah, can't be anything less than a 10 for me. And I echo what you say as well, lads. I think you wish him well. It looks like he is going to move on. He owes Liverpool nothing. He's given us everything, and you don't sort of begrudge him a move at the end of his career. And saying that, if it turns out he's going to City or Chelsea or that, then he can fuck off. But if he's going to Bayern Munich, then all the best. You know, we send him off with love. The last player on the list now is Mohamed Salah. So you've already given your score on him, Davo. Do you want to elaborate?
Oh, just listen, shares the golden boot. What's that? He's over 20 goals, 20 league goals every season since he's been here. He's absolutely bollocksed. Like the way Egypt, like watch bits and pieces of Egypt and stuff like that. Nearly every game was fucking extra time, every knockout game, and he's absolutely in a heap from it. 10. I think he's going to stay. I'm not sure whether that means he signs a new contract or not, but I think he's going to stay, and I think it'd be great that he gets a break in the summer and he gets a break when the World Cup is on, because he's not gone, and hopefully we see the benefits of it, because he should be hungry again next year. Brilliant player, 10 for me.
Emmet?
Yeah, 10. Like, let's not forget, at the turn of the year, we were talking about Salah being the best player on the planet, and there's nobody that could argue with you. Like his goals against City, and then his goal against Watford. Like that's like there's players that miss open goals, and then there's players that go through 7 and 8 players to score goals. Absolutely, yeah, massive player at the start of the season. Dropped off a bit in the second half of the season, but like Davo said and Seany said, like he was absolutely bollocks. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like if you watch an Egypt game, everything just gets fired to Salah all the time. It's nearly like he's just a wide receiver, and that's all he gets, the ball to him all the time. And he's so heavily relied upon, and I'd say there's so much pressure on him when he plays for Egypt that like he's like literally, if they had maybe another handful of good players, it might take the pressure off him a little bit more, but he is the kind of head and shoulders above everybody. So he probably felt it an awful lot more than, I'm not saying that the other lads didn't feel it, but he would feel the pressure a little bit more than others. To come back then, he hasn't been great, but it's not like he's played bad. He just hasn't scored. And I think towards the end of the season, he probably looked like everybody was saying he needed a goal, and he was nearly kind of forcing it, and became a little bit kind of predictable and desperate. And I think that's maybe went against him a little bit. Yeah, overall season though, I'd definitely be giving him a 10.
Seany?
Best player in the world before Christmas. Genuinely mean that. That's the level he was at. And dies a death then. And to be honest with you, none of you have touched on it. He's annoyed the fuck out of me second half of the season, because the shite with his agent, the stupid interviews, the I'm this, the I'm that, the contract stuff has annoyed me. He's played about a load of games, but he's been equally affected by the shite off the pitch. And I think he has his agent to blame. Very much like the others I've talked about, for Mo Hours is absolutely nothing. I genuinely feel that. And I just feel that he could have been better in the second half of the season. And I genuinely reckon fully firing Mao, we would have won the quad. Sadly, I'm not blaming him. It's just another factor. He was bollocksed. I'm with Davo. I think he stays. I'm actually coming around to the idea of him now. I actually think he's going to sign a contract, and he'll be refreshed and he'll charge and he'll go again next year and he'll score a load of goals. But I think he needs to realise and learn from his mistakes that it's always better to talk after the fact than before the fact. And it's had to come back to bite him because he was stinking last Saturday. And he was stinking for large parts of the back end of the season. But it's completely normal. The fella looked born out emotionally, physically. I think he needs a rest and he'll come back. And if he's going to run down his contract, fair enough. It is what it is. He's not going to get me coming on. But I won't lie. Some of the shit did annoy me. Because I don't think he's carried himself in the best vein at times. But goal and boot, most assists, that's Mo Salah for you. Just stupid output. Absolutely stupid output.
What are we giving him, a 10?
We'll give him a 10, yeah.
Yeah. Which is all very fair, you know what I mean? So judging on all that, that's our last player, lads. Jesus, Davo will be delighted. He's up for walk in 16 minutes. So a very quick one before we all go. And we've sort of touched on it already, but who's your player this season? Davo?
Allison.
Seany?
Allison.
Emmet?
Allison, yeah. Hat-trick.
Allison for me as well. To
Quad.
Clean sweep. Yeah.
Quad.
The mythical quad. Nah, look, he's been brilliant. It's been a great season for Liverpool. It's hard to give Mark down, lads, you know, but with Salah, I always say about Brendan Rodgers at Leicester, you know, he gets credit for having a great start to the season, but falls off a cliff and misses out on Champions League. And I always use the analogy, you know, in a horse race, you don't want to be the horse that's winning at the start and then finishes fucking sixth at the end of it. Mo, brilliant, out of this world at the start, as Seany said, best player in the world, and the drop was just fucking ferocious. But I think for what he did do, he has to be a 10, doesn't he? Right, we'll leave it there, lads. That's been a long, now grueling one. I know how some of these players failed. I'm shattered after that. I'm fucking wrecked. But we'll move on. Look, just thank the boys for joining me tonight. Davo, thanks very much. Great input as usual. Seany, thank you very much for giving us the numbers tonight. And Emma, always a pleasure having you on here, pal.
Nice one.
So yeah, I didn't get a chance to mention Féileacáin or IP Vanish. Gav can look after them again because I make a bollocks of them and it's getting late now. So we do Féileacáin charity partner, big supporter of that, and IP Vanish. I won't even try because I'll get the numbers wrong, but you know, look out for it. All the details are in the show description and all that sort of stuff. So look, we'll leave it there. I've been your host, Keith. This has been the Midweek Fix, and we'll be back again soon.